Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Eggy Teaches.
That's right, guys.
Friday
Class
game.
is back in session.
We are on the last episode of basic stuff now. After this, we're going to be picking a game and getting into specifics with that game.
Woo! All right.
To the friendlies, because we always go there.
I was just saying, like, I'd be surprised if you didn't choose the same place for the last episode of this area or this game.
Who do you want to be?
I'm good with like Ryu or Ken or somebody basic.
It was Ryu. Okay, so we've talked a lot about a bunch of like concepts in fighting games and a bunch of techniques and stuff, but all of that becomes different when you're actually trying to apply it in an actual fight. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Sweetness.
Practical application of tools.
That's most important, especially when it comes to a fight. Take them in the balls. Oh wait, no, we're talking about Oh wait, I'm not.
You know she's technically Japanese?
How so?
Like she's from Japan.
The character's from Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Even though she's like American as fuck.
I mean, there are Japanese Americans.
Yeah, but those people are like actually Japanese. She like her home country is Japan.
Oh, even though she doesn't
Even though
reflect...
she like is so white. And everything about her.
Okay, yeah.
Anyways.
That booty though.
Anyways. So. Things get... oh, I don't think you're...
No, I'm not. I'm trying to put... There we go.
So things get different when you're playing against an actual person. We've talked about some of these things, but we're going to get a little bit more in depth now. So, I talked a little bit last episode, I believe, about moves that are good with fishing when we were talking about breaking down characters. So, once you've broken down a character, you know what your moves are, right?
Yeah.
So, now you know what moves you should be fishing with. And fishing basically just implies, I'm trying to find an opening so that I can go into a combo string, and if I can find that opening, then I'm going into it. See? Get out of here. So,
out of my bar.
I'm trying to wait. Fuck you.
God damn it.
Get out of here.
We're just having a grab
I don't know
off.
why I was doing that. But anyways, so the thing is, in an actual fighting match, you're gonna have people actually, blocking and dodging and shit. And not just standing there for you to punch up on them like they do in training mode. So you're gonna have to actually start working on your mix-ups. So a very important thing in fighting games is the psychology of the fight, right?
Right.
You get into your opponent's head. Now, the way that you start doing that is by analyzing your opponent's strategies. So, for example... Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to do that, but I did it. So, when we're playing a new fighting game, or when I'm playing a different fighting game that we know, but I'm playing against a new person,
Right,
I might not always just, come in and kill it, like with Smash, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm fighting against a new person, regardless of their skill level, I might not be able to just, wallop them right off the bat. Now, let's be honest here, Smash Bros. I probably will.
Yeah.
But, the reason why is, at least for someone if someone's good at the game, and I haven't played against them before, part of what's happening in those first matches is analyzing their strategy. Now, when you're playing online or you're playing in a tournament or whatever, you're not necessarily going to have, the hours upon hours of playtime that, we've had together to get used to an opponent's strategy. So you gotta get good at just, learning them, So you gotta, in the first round, you might lose the first round, but you gotta take the opportunity to learn. You know your moves, you hopefully, by the point that you're playing, know the moves of the other character and what they're going to be doing, but it's all about application. Fighting games are very open. We've talked about a lot of different ways to go about things, and we haven't gotten into specifics because, in every game, there's different things that you can do. For instance, you can, in this game, use EX moves or V-trigger to extend your combos and stuff like that. we're not going to get into that, but there are all sorts of different methods of maneuvering and
Shit,
movement
that's all I wanted.
and shit that you can do to up your game. And there's a bunch of different ways to tackle different problems. Someone keeps jumping in on you, you could jump at them and try to neutral it, so that way, rather than getting the jump in on you every time, you're actually, what's the word I'm looking for here? You're canceling their jump by just also doing damage in your jump. Or, like with Ryu, you can do a Shoryuken and anti-air them. There's a bunch of things that you can do. So, with that in mind, you need to keep in mind, like, mix-ups, you know? You gotta keep in mind that the other person will be doing their own shit, and you gotta keep in mind that their character is not going to have the same moveset as your character, so you can't just, like, block against your character. And yeah. What else is there to talk about on this topic? Not a lot. We have to get into actual practical application stuff. But
yeah.
let's talk about that for a second.
All
right. You're fishing for moves, right? You're fishing for something to hit, and when something hits, then you start getting into your combos with it. You gotta practice them. You gotta know what they are. I don't have any idea what like any of them are in Street Fighter V. In all honesty.
Ooh,
but you start getting that down, and then you have to start applying it in battle. We probably should have switched over to MVCI for this, because I can actually example some shit in that game.
right.
I can't really example anything in this game very well. But, you know,
Right,
take
yeah.
all the concepts we've learned, and when you apply them in an actual match, you gotta actually deal with the other person. You gotta learn what they're doing. And since I've spent a lot of time in fighting games with you, I kind of know what you're going for a lot of the times. And I can block and punish you relatively easily.
Right, yeah. It's not like we don't have a whole, you know, another show about it or anything.
But yeah. Other than that, I really don't think there's much left to talk about here. We gotta start getting into specifics and start getting into how to apply specific things with specific characters. But again, we're not going to do that for this game, because this isn't really the game that we're planning on playing, I don't think.
No.
Have you thought about what game that we're going to play?
Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom.
Which one?
Probably... We can, why don't we just start off with 2?
Well, whatever you pick, that's the one that we're going to just go with.
Yeah,
so,
let's do 2. I like 2.
You want to learn 2?
Let's learn 2.
Okay. You sure about that?
Yes.
Okay. So next episode will be in MVC2. We'll be learning specifics. We'll be learning about all the systems and that. I'll brush up on it a bit more than I have with Street Fighter. And that's really all for today.
Yeah.
Your homework is to find someone to play against and start learning about, start learning them, you know? Your homework is to go ahead and start fighting against someone and see if you can learn their ways and see if you can start applying some of the stuff that we've talked about earlier in practical ways. You know? That's all. This is a really short episode, but you know what? That's
Half
fine,
day, guys.
because we just needed to finish up talking about that real quick.
Yep. Alright, class outs, guys.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye-bye.